Umaru Ahmadu Fintiri of PDP, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and returned.
Governor Fintiri flies high, wins Adamawa governorship polls. Benani heads to court. Sustainable energy. Nigeria's responsibility in realizing policy is huge. Vice President Oshibajo reminds stakeholders.
We can do so by becoming the first truly green civilization in the world.
Plus, 15 days to go. 2023 census media team goes for aggressive enlightenment in Lagos.
The census is about the people, and so the people have to be engaged and engaged properly.
Hello and warm welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I'm Henry John and we're live in Abuja. Adiola Komi Akere joins me from Lagos while Kemi Akinwande is in Ibadan. Thank you for joining us. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Adamawa State has declared the PDP candidate and incumbent governor of the state, Amadu Umaru Fintiri, as winner of the 2023 governorship election. Simon Asha reports.
The total number of registered voters.
The INEC returning officer for the governorship election in Adamawa State, Professor Mohamed Mele, declared the incumbent governor, Amadu Umaru Fintiri, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, winner with 430,821 votes to defeat Senator Ashatu Ahmed Binani of the All Progressives Congress, APC, who scored 296,788 votes. The conduct of the governorship election on March 18 was declared inconclusive and a supplementary election was held on 15th April, where a winner now emerged.
That Umaru Ahmadu Fintiri of PDP, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and returned.
Similarly, in his acceptance speech, Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri thanked the people of the state for the confidence reposed in him, promised to consolidate on the achievements so far recorded.
You elected to vote for continuity in functional public school system and payment of WAEC and NECO for our children. You voted for continuity in provision of health care and health insurance that makes it easier for the vulnerable to access quality service with ease. You voted for continuity in the provision of urban and rural infrastructure.
In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the victory of Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri in the Adamawa State governorship election as a triumph for democracy and the will of the people of the state. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunaba, in a statement on behalf of the party's leadership, also lauded the Adamawa State returning officer, Mohamed Mele, for his courage in standing on the side of justice, due process and democracy in the discharge of his duty. The PDP saluted the roles played by the international and domestic election observers, the media, organized civil society, and well-meaning Nigerians in ensuring that the mandate of the people of Adamawa State, freely given to the PDP and its candidate, Governor Fintiri, was not in vain. Meanwhile, the PDP Governors Forum has congratulated Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri on his re-election as the governor of Adamawa State. Director General of the forum, Cyril Amadubum, in a statement said it was a hard-fought and hard-won victory, not just for Governor Fintiri, but also for Adamawa State, democracy and due process in Nigeria. The statement commended INEC for the feat and requested the Commission to promptly revisit all other elections where infractions have been identified. Former Vice President and 2023 PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has similarly congratulated Governor Amadu Fintiri on his re-election as governor of Adamawa State. He thanked the people of Adamawa State and people of the goodwill for staying the course in resisting those he described as enemies of democracy. And in the meantime, the Commissioner of Police, Gombe State, has been directed to take charge of security arrangements in Adamawa State. Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi stated this at a media briefing in Abuja. Francis Form reports.
Coming on the heels of the announcement of Adamawa State supplementary election result by the suspended resident electoral commissioner in the presence of the Commissioner of Police and other security agencies, Inspector General of Police has ordered the withdrawal of the CP replacing him with the CP in charge of Gombe State.
And the Commissioner of Police in charge of Gombe State, CP Etim Okwa, to proceed to Adamawa immediately to go and supervise the election and provide necessary security to make sure that process is a success.
On INEC's letter directing the IGP to investigate and prosecute the suspended reg and those involved in the announcement, Force Public Relations Officer says the police has not received the correspondence, but assures that the force will act swiftly on receipt of the letter. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force has derank Inspector Adejo Siaka to Sergeant, while Sergeant Ndiwa Kwebari has been reprimanded for assaulting a member of the public in Rivers State.
So we will not in any way condone any act of indiscipline or any inappropriate acts that will soil the image of the force or will reduce or ridicule the policing institution in Nigeria.
Both personnel have since been moved out of Rivers State. Francis from NTA News.
Still on the Adamawa election, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered counsel to the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Aishatu Ahmed Binani, to address it on whether it has jurisdiction to entertain a matter relating to the conduct of elections. This was when Binani filed a motion ex parte seeking the review of INEC's decision to void the purported announcement by resident electoral commissioner, who is now being investigated by the IGP.
Because we are party to the suit, and we have the right to be heard. We are parties to the suit. What we are trying to do before the Supreme Court is for the court to make a pronouncement as to whether, looking at Section 149 of the Electoral Act, which says whatever action taken by INEC can only be set aside by either election petition tribunal or a court of competent jurisdiction. So an INEC staff standing to make a declaration, whether legitimate or illegitimate, the right thing to do is to approach the tribunal. It is only the tribunal that will determine whether the act is legitimate or illegitimate.
Is yet to entertain the substantive matter. A motion by counsel to Governor Amadu Fintiri to entertain as necessary party in the suit was declined by the court. The matter is adjourned to April 26. Now heading to Gombe State, the All Progressives Congress APC Kashere Ward, Gombe State, has announced the expulsion of Senator Muhammad Danjuma Goje, senator representing Gombe Central from the party. Emmanuel Akila reports.
Article 21.
Tanimu Abdullahi, Kashere Ward chairman of the APC in Akko local government area, reading the 10-point charges leveled against Senator Muhammad Danjuma Goje. Tanimu says these include non-participation in APC political campaign rallies and alignment with opposition parties against the APC. This, according to the chairman, constitute anti-party activities and cannot go unpunished.
The APC Kashere Ward have expelled Senator Muhammad Danjuma Goje over anti-party activities.
State executive of the party says the decision at the ward level is appropriate as it follows due disciplinary procedures.
The constitution of the party frowns at two things: anti-party and taking the party to court. And these two, the senator has already done, and therefore we, as custodians of the constitution of the party in the state, align ourselves fully with the actions of the executive of the APC in Kashere Ward.
Senator Muhammad Danjuma Goje, as a founding member of the APC in Gombe State, won the Gombe Central Senatorial District on the platform of the APC in the February 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
And away from politics now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria has a crucial role to play in delivering the sustainable energy future that Africa and the rest of the world must have in the next few years. This was when the Vice President declared open the exhibition of the Nigeria International Energy Summit in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
So we produced 1 billion barrels of oil since we started bunker in 2005.
This is one of the good news the Vice President hopes to hear as he opens and tours this exhibition ground, stating that the private sector must clearly articulate its own sustainable energy ambitions in alignment with the nation's transition plan.
It is our nation and our continent that will drive the next stage of global economic progress. And we can do so by becoming the first truly green civilization in the world. How can we achieve that? First, by recognizing the opportunity early and intentionally developing all the potential around our natural resources, including natural gas, of course, solar and biofuels. We must, in particular, leverage on our renewable energy potential, work actively on green technologies, carbon removal, and green manufacturing. And we have a young and resourceful workforce that can enable that to happen very quickly. And quite frankly, it is the energy sector, working with governments, that can muster the human and material resources to move the needle on this kind of ambition.
And still talking about the energy transition plan, Vice President Osinbajo says the nation has started well, describing it as bold and innovative.
So if we focus on our strengths today, if we focus on those natural resources, we can certainly move very fast. And I think we've started well. Our energy transition plan is bold and innovative. It calls for the ramping up of solar cells, and we're going to be doing about 5.3 gigawatts per year until 2060. That's the plan, and we think that this plan is perfectly achievable. The production of over 6 billion liters of biofuels annually to green, as it is the path to e-mobility, and the transition of at least 2 million Nigerian households annually to cleaner cooking fuels, such as LPG.
It is still a long way to go. But the good thing, as Vice President Osinbajo observed, is that the people are well able to achieve all they have set for themselves. From the International Conference Center in Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Looking at other issues now, the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, in a joint statement say the appointment of Mele Kyari as Group Chief Executive Officer and Umar Ajiya as Chief Financial Officer was in line with Section 59, Subsection 3 of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, which is for a tenure of 5 years. The statement says the emergence of NNPC Limited as a commercial company is totally different from its pre-PIA NNPC, which was in some way affected. The rank and file of membership formerly in NNPC, but now in NNPC Limited. The statement insists that for the interest of sustainable growth of oil and gas industry and the nation's economy, correcting the wrong impression being created in the public space, Mele Kyari and Umar Ajiya have served in different capacities for many years in the employment of the NNPC with unambiguous conditions of service, which include gratuity on exit from the corporation. The associations urge Nigerians to ignore the mischief makers and support patriotic Nigerians to help the nation and the people of the country derive maximum returns from its God-given natural resource. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says it is working on a framework for meter acquisition fund towards closing the gap of metering in the country. The Commissioner, Consumer Affairs, Aisha Mahmood, said this during a 3-day customer complaints resolution meeting in Jos. Undeyang and Dayaba Gang reports.
Customer Complaints Resolution Meeting is a brainchild of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission that interfaces with electricity consumers towards educating them on their rights and obligations within the electricity industry with a view to resolving their complaints, a move that has earned the Commission accolades in Jos as consumers bear their minds on electricity services in the state.
This kind of meeting will be taking place. A lot of customers will know their rights.
I'm happy with the forum because they are attending to issues.
I have not seen a chief executive writing down complaints himself and hoping to intervene. And there and then he has given directive to the technical officer in charge of JEDC Plateau State to take note of such problems, especially as it affects transformers and bypass of meters and others.
While acknowledging challenges of metering and billing in the country, the Commissioner Consumer Affairs, Aisha Mahmood, says the Commission and federal government have a number of initiatives such as Meter Access Provider Regulation and the National Mass Metering Program, where nearly 1 million customers were metered in the phase 0, even as the Commission amended 5 regulations in line with current realities.
The Commission is working on what we call the Meter Acquisition Fund, and we're working on the framework as today. So as soon as we are done with the framework, we'll share it with the distribution companies and we'll share it with all Nigerian customers so that, at least they know that we're trying our very best to make sure that all customers in Nigeria have access to meters.
And with other initiatives, metering initiatives in place, I believe that very soon you will see traction in this direction.
NEC is an independent regulatory body with a mandate to protect consumers on all electricity utility issues. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. Time for a break. Please stay. Welcome back. The 8 female students of Government Secondary School Awon who were kidnapped by terrorists on Monday, 3rd April 2023 in Awon, Kachia local government area of Kaduna State have escaped from the terrorists' hideout. A release signed by the Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arua, says the students are presently receiving medical attention in a military facility. Meanwhile, Governor Nasiru El-Rufai has expressed his delight over the development and praised the students for demonstrating courage and resilience in escaping from captivity. The governor also commended the General Officer commanding 1 Division, Major General O.T. Akinjobi, for the prompt evacuation and the ongoing medicals being conducted on the students. The federal government has launched a strategic plan to reposition the Interior Ministry for National Planning and Development. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila has details.
Thank you very much. This is the first strategic plan since the creation of the Interior Ministry, aimed at actualizing its core mandate. 6 main objectives are at the center of this document. Prominent among are safety and security, citizenship integrity, and will be achieved through the establishment of a central security and intelligence database.
The military is very strategic to Nigeria's unity, peace and safety, as it plays a pivotal role in the country's security, safety, peace, and continued existence.
This plan will justify the proper integration, collaboration, and synergy between agencies of government charged with biometric data gathering, intelligence, and law enforcement in Nigeria.
With the implementation of this plan, you will realize what effort and contribution you would have made towards restoring this nation to the path of glory and economic development.
The Ministry of Interior can count on our ministry's readiness and commitment as a strategic partner in developing workable policies to support your efforts at the operationalization of this 5-year strategic plan.
Implementation, monitoring, and resource mobilization strategies have been set to achieve the objectives. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Now talking security, the Ministry of Defense has acknowledged the gallantry of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian military in internal security operations and global peacekeeping missions, stressing that the force will do better with deployment of advanced technologies. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, stated this at the 12th National Security Seminar 2023.
In the northeast, the armed forces are stemming terrorism, with some of the terrorists confined to the Lake Chad region, hibernating in cells and camps. While ungoverned space in the northeast and north central that sometimes accommodate bandits are being combed regularly by security forces. Though this is yielding results, the Minister of Defense is advocating the deployment of advanced military technology as a force multiplier.
Our security forces have really performed well in international operations at home and can do even better by improving their level of performance with the use of technology, especially since criminals and terrorists are applying technology in their nefarious activities.
To the National Security Advisor, the dynamic and complex nature of the nation's emerging security threats requires a multidimensional approach.
We cannot continue to allow our forests to be taken over by criminal elements. We must ensure that we develop the right technology that will enable us to monitor the development, the movements of these criminal elements, particularly when they kidnap people and take them into the forest, that they cannot go scot-free. We must be able to track them and arrest them.
The 12th National Security Seminar, organized by the Apex Military Training Institution's alumni, the Defense College and the Office of the National Security Advisor, is focusing on the application of technology as a force multiplier in enhancing peace and security in Nigeria. From the National Defense College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, says a National Council on Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs will soon be established as the highest policy advisory body in the Ministry for accelerating grassroots development in the country. Declaring open a 3-day stakeholders conference on special duties and intergovernmental affairs in Abuja, the minister notes that the proposed National Council will serve as a strategic vehicle for grassroots development, as well as effective implementation and monitoring of government policies and programs for national development.
Come to realize that the absence of a critical structure or vehicle mobilization of stakeholders to prompt action had somehow hindered the pace of the ministry in discharging its activities, particularly with respect to intergovernmental relations. This realization has thus informed my decision to establish the National Council for Special Duties and Intergovernment, which embraces the local government. I believe by the time we finish from here, we're rushing a memo to the Federal Executive Council for appropriate action.
The conference is expected to produce a blueprint for synergy among the 3 tiers of government. In other news, the 7 years under the current administration at attaining the Sustainable Development Agenda and other targets in the water, sanitation and hygiene wash sector might amount to a waste without sustained commitment and improved investment by key players going forward. Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu gave the indication in Abuja at the launch of 4 new documents for the wash sector. Musbao Dan Wahab reports.
Millions of Nigerians yearning for access to safe water, and up to 23% of household members still practicing open defecation. These are parts of the disturbing realities confronting Nigeria in the water, sanitation and hygiene sector. And now, here are 4 documents including the 2019-2020 Nigeria Wash Account Report, Wash Finance Advocacy Strategy, Sector-wide Sustainability Check Reports, and Wash Theory of Change, all illuminating the sector.
These documents are critical for monitoring the distribution and spread of wash finance services, resource mobilization, investment drive into the sector, and improvements in wash service delivery.
Data from the account reports show a decline in total wash expenditure from 4.3 trillion naira in 2019 to 3.9 trillion naira in 2020. The documents illuminate the Herculean task ahead and also provide ways to surmounting the challenges and meeting the development targets in the sector. But the main concern here is that without sustained momentum, at the national level and political will backed up with action by subnational governments, the documents might only pass for another fine set of ideas on the shelf.
The people, the population is in the states and the local government. If you don't come out and give this sector the impetus that it requires, if you don't match the enthusiasm with which the federal government is doing its bit, then we're not going to get there.
It's absolutely crucial that the states take their responsibility very seriously in terms of prioritising and committing sufficient funds.
And now, the ministry believes it has solidified foundations on which the next administration is expected to build in ensuring good sanitation and safe water for all. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Many thanks, Musbao. Now, Nigerians must see the 2023 population and housing census as an exercise to generate evidence-based demographic data for development planning purposes. This was the crux of messages as the National Census Publicity Committee took the head count campaign to some media houses in Lagos State. Oluseye Adiagbo has details.
Ọdún 2023 la ń retí sẹ́ńsọ̀.
Ó ṣe pàtàkì jẹ́ kí wọ́n kà ọ́. Mutane nawa ne suke a ƙasar nan?
Development. Some members of the National Census Publicity Committee at a live broadcast on Bond FM of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, a local languages broadcast station in Lagos. For members of the committee, the primary assignment of strengthening 2023 census advocacy can be best achieved by leveraging on the wide reach of Nigeria's media outfits. At the media houses visited, discussion centered on why the national headcount in May 2023 is overdue and how its processes and methodology have been phased to ensure a transparent and credible exercise.
The census is about the people, and so the people have to be engaged and engaged properly.
The whole idea is that we are trying to offer the leadership that is coming next.
There were documentations on what the people need to know about the 2023 population and housing census and guidelines for media, among others, to help aid the census publicity.
We also need to contribute our own quota to the endeavor of having a proper census.
It's a hugely important exercise for the future of Nigeria.
Leadership of the media houses emphasized that their engagement has provided more insights into the national headcount and pledged better sensitization of Nigerians. From Lagos, Oluseye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Similarly, as the largest television network in Africa, the Nigerian Television Authority is a major stakeholder in setting the agenda to galvanize the support of Nigerians to take ownership of the 2023 population and housing census. This informed the courtesy visit by the National Census Publicity Committee to NTA Lagos Network Center as part of media rounds to give maximum publicity to the census. Joel Okwola has the report.
With preparation for the 2023 population and housing census in top gear, the Census Publicity Committee, led by the Director General of the National Orientation Agency (NOA), have been working round the clock to ensure all critical stakeholders, especially the media, give priority attention to the much-awaited digital census. Dr. Abari and other members of the committee say they hope to leverage on the wide coverage and strength of the Nigerian Television Authority in indigenous language broadcasts to sensitize Nigerians on the significance of the census.
The role of the media, especially at this very critical moment, is to help in propagating all the necessary information so that they are made more aware.
Zonal Director NTA Lagos Network Center Nick Onyinshi reassured the committee that NTA will not relent in setting the agenda for a successful population and housing census through maximum publicity. He is now an ambassador of the 2023 population and housing census with his investiture by Dr. Abari. The zonal director says NTA will continue to take the lead in sensitizing Nigerians on the census.
The core function of NTA is not just of the media. It's not just to report activities. Agenda setting is one key area of the function of the media, and we hope to play that to the best of our ability.
All hands must be on deck to ensure a hitch-free census. In Lagos, Joel Ukwola, NTA News.
Well, we'll now hand over to Adiola, who's still in Lagos, for more news. Adiola.
Thank you, Nyere. The Norwegian government has expressed readiness to partner the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency to grow the maritime sector. Norwegian Foreign Affairs Minister Anniken Huitfeldt stated this when she led a team of businessmen and women to Nimasa Resource Center in Lagos.
Norway is one of the world's largest maritime offshore nations and has been a major player in shipping and shipbuilding for more than 150 years. The maritime industry is one of Norway's most important industries and is a significant contributor to value creation and employment in large parts of the country. Value creation for 2021 is estimated at 154 billion. And the industry employs over 90,000 people.
For Norway,
the Norwegian foreign minister noted that our government was willing to collaborate with Nimasa for the development of the maritime sector in many areas, including enhancing the Nigerian flag.
I would like to focus on this capacity building. When it comes to economic assistance, we do that through UN organizations.
The Director General Nimasa Bashir Jamal reiterated the agency's resolve to ensure safety and security on the waterways, noting that these will attract more investors to the country.
So we want to see the improvement of utilization of water transportation. So if we say people should patronize water transportation, we should be seen patronizing it. That is why we do it for our own staffs.
Nimasa says it will continue to strengthen the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Norway by enhancing the seamless relationship and synergies between Nimasa and the Norwegian Maritime Administration and industry. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Shareholders of one of Nigeria's leading telecommunications company, MTN Nigeria, are smiling to the bank already. Annie Daniels reports that this is after the bank declared 15 naira 60 kobo as dividend for the year ended December 2022 at its annual general meeting in Lagos.
Management of MTN re-emphasized that its strategic intent is to lead digital solutions for Africa's development.
We do believe we're delivering world-class 5G services. I've tested, I've gotten at times somewhere between 900 megabits per second and 1.2 gigabits per second. But we're rolling out aggressively. We're not at a third of what we intend to roll out this year. So we expect to see accelerated coverage and capacity expansion in the course of the year.
I would like to commend the board for the interim dividends and the final dividends.
For the year under review, the company declared more than 2 trillion naira as its total revenue, representing a growth of 21.6%. Profit after tax stood at over 3 billion naira, translating to a 20.2% growth rate.
We've had a very successful year. We think that despite the various issues that are bedeviling our country, we remain focused and try to provide the Nigerian people with the kind of technology and communications that they require for their business and for their interaction with each other.
I know in interim dividend sometime in September last year they pay us 5 naira 60 kobo plus final dividend of today of 10 naira, making 15 naira 60 kobo. It's a wonderful achievement to us, we shareholders, in terms of dividend and the capital appreciation. And I hope God willing next year they will increase the dividend that they are going to pay us now.
Management of MTN says over 75 million people and communities nationwide are connected through its network. The company says the best is yet to come. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Remember that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. The National Population Census is 15 days away. You count, so be counted. The network news will be right back after this timeout. To stay with us.
Glad to have you back. Experts in accounting say acquiring new knowledge in the profession is key to taking public sector accounting to a higher level. This formed part of discussions during the opening ceremony of Association of National Accountants of Nigeria and a second session 2023 mandatory continuing professional development program holding in Awka, Anambra State. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
The program with the theme Changes and Advances in Public Sector Accounting, which brought together stakeholders and members of ANAN from across Nigeria, is aimed at brainstorming and charting the way forward towards uplifting and enhancing accounting expertise across the Federation.
I'm very glad that we are talking about continuous professional development. There is no way we can benchmark ourselves in what we are doing without continuing to improve. What is the next thing? What is the end thing?
A lot of things we have been doing which are not incorporated into the law, we were able to bring them together under the amendment bill. First passed in the Senate and then in the House of Reps. By the grace of God, we are awaiting the assent of the President.
The opening ceremony climaxed with the inauguration of a gigantic and non-ultra-modern research center for Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Koyo Ibariam campus.
We are now going to use it also as a center for ANAN examination, so that instead of our students and staff going to Enugu as before, they will now write the exam here.
Whereas the university or polytechnic gives you a professional, that is the academic and character degree, we give you the professional degree.
The accountancy students, who were visibly elated, say the research center will be of great benefit to them. In Awka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
Welcome for more business news. Musa.
The value of electronic payment transactions rose year-on-year by 298% to 135.52 trillion in the first quarter of the year, from 34.04 trillion in first quarter 2022, reflecting the impact of cash scarcity on the payment culture of Nigerians. E-payment data from the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System release showed that the number of e-payment transactions shot up by 984% to 4.7 billion in first quarter 2023 from 433.4 million in first quarter 2022, while the value rose year-on-year by 298% to 135.52 trillion naira in the first quarter of the year, from 34.04 trillion naira in first quarter 2022. The volume of e-payment transactions stood at 1.12 billion in January, rising by 29% month-on-month to 1.45 billion in February, and up by 46% month-on-month to 2.13 billion in March. And now to energy. Oil prices were little change on Tuesday as upbeat economic data in number 2 oil consumer China offset concerns that possible increases in U.S. interest rates could dampen growth in the top consuming country. Reuters reports that Brent crude settled 1 cent or 0.01% higher at $85.25 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures closed up 3 cents or 0.04% at $80.86. The equities market closed positive as investors gained 2.53 billion naira. The all-share index advanced 0.02% to close at 51,138.92 basis points. A total turnover of 1.8 billion securities valued at 5.02 billion naira were traded in 4,669 deals. Equity capitalization increased to 27.8 trillion naira. Transcorp, Livings Trust, and Fidelity Bank were the most traded stocks at the end of the session. Let's now join Kemi in Ibadan for more stories.
Officers and soldiers through acquiring fire prevention management skills to enhance safety of personnel and assets within the barracks. Correspondent Oyeyin Komole reports that this was at a sensitization seminar organized by the 2-Division Nigerian Army.
Worried by imminent danger of fire outbreaks and the need to take holistic measures towards securing lives of personnel and assets of the Nigerian Army, the Chief of Army Staff considered it pertinent to sensitize officers and soldiers on efficient fire prevention skills and energy awareness.
The Chief of Army Staff deemed it fit that Army headquarters should go around all the divisions to spread the dose to everybody so that we can minimize the casualties.
General Officer Commanding 2 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Muhammad Usman represented, said the division will utilize all available skills to ensure safety from fire disaster.
Suffice to state that the seminar is aimed at educating officers, men, and their families on fire prevention and management with a view to enhancing their capacity on fire awareness and safety.
Present at the seminar are heads of various formations and units within the 2 divisions, as well as representatives of wives of officers and soldiers in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
The National Population Commission has organized a capacity-building workshop for members of the Census Publicity Committee to boost their knowledge and skills to ensure a hitch-free and successful national population and housing census. Kendi Omolosho has the details.
We have found that makes the committee members functions more effectively.
Census is a process of collecting, compiling, evaluating, analyzing, and publishing or disseminating demographic and social data appropriately. Participants at the workshop were exposed to process and methodology for the conduct of the 2023 National Population and Housing Census.
We need statistical data to tell the government or to guide the government as to know what to do and for where.
This time around, we want to even know the structure that is used in erecting a building, right? Even the roof cover. Is it mud? Is it cement? And that is it. We want to know because it will assist government in trying to know the living standard of an average Nigerians.
Some of the processes to be used for the census include identification of special population and enumeration area demarcation.
What I'm talking about de facto is a population census in which people say are enumerated according to where they stayed, slept, or on the night preceding the day of the enumerator's visit.
The 2023 Population and Housing Census, which will commence on the 3rd of May, will be digitally conducted. Kendi Omolosho, NTA News.
Kendi Omolosho.
And that's it from Ibadan. Time now for another break. The news continues with Inyeri when we return. Don't go away.
Let's have a bit of sports news now.
We begin with golf. All is now set for the 8th edition of Western Zonal Championship, otherwise known as Ligan, scheduled for the 20th of April 2023 at the Ibadan Golf Club. Syrian national and international winner across different events, Evelyn Oyome, confirmed that over 200 golfers will display the best of golf artistry. In tennis, winners have emerged at the 2023 Tennis Players Parent UTR tournament, which ended at the Lagos Country Club. The focus of the tournament is to provide more opportunities for players to be ranked anywhere in the world. Peter Ubebi emerged the under-12 boys winner with a 2-games-to-love victory over Daisy Yakubu.
I want to see our children in the next 5-10 years, somewhere, playing Roland Garros, somewhere playing Wimbledon, somewhere playing greater tournament.
And in football, the Nigerian Football Federation at its meeting Monday directed the composition of the Nigeria Premier League board within the next 1 month. It also directed that the boards of the lower leagues be constituted. Still on football, second leg actions of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals return Tuesday and Wednesday. On Wednesday, Bayern Munich has a difficult task at hand when the team takes on Manchester City with a 3-goal advantage. Inter Milan, playing at home, might have it easy against Benfica, having won the first leg 2-0. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
Concludes NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Please remember, it's 15 days to the head count. Don't slack. Be counted. I'm Henry John. Have a good night.